Alright guys, we're going to bring you along on a little home repair today. So kind of like a vlog video, but at the same time just showing you guys you can do stuff around your house very easy. What we're doing today is a very simple fix. We're going to be fixing up a little rack I have in my laundry room here. So let's go ahead and just take a look around. So to begin, obviously just the washing machines, and then I have this fan. And this fan I use to dry all my clothes. Now if you know my channel and you know about me, you know I wear almost all wool. So all these clothes over here, they're clean and dry, and they're wool shirts, wool underwear, wool socks. I wear basically all wool, so you don't wash that, you don't dry that in a drying machine, you dry it, air dry it. Well, this rack over here used to sit up to here, but I leaned on it or something and snapped it out of the wall. So we're going to go ahead and put on a new rack today. I had the towel on it because it just helps with drying. It helps absorb some water and then spread it out. But it's just a simple rack. So all I have to do here is measure it. I believe it's going to be about 36 inches from the end of the wall here to the corner. But I'm just going to measure this, then we're going to go to Home Depot, pick out a new rack, and get these off, show you what to do to fill the holes, and then put on the new ones. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, my AC just came on, so there might be some background fan noise, but right now we're just measuring, and a little over 36. It's about 38.5 inches, so we can go with anything that's, you know, between 36 and 38 inches. On the wall here I have this USB power outlet thing. It's got just 4 USBs on it, and that's because I could hook up fans, and I could even hook up just whatever else I wanted. There's just 4 USBs over here, and then you plug this in, and I just have that sticky to the wall. I'm going to leave that there as long as I can because it's even nice just sometimes I have something to charge, like a battery backup or something. I could bring it in here and just plug it in. And I would I'll often have this fan underneath this rack so that it would help dry off that towel that I had on top. So it's just a little fan for that, and then I have the big fan over there. So we'll leave that for now as long as we can. And this, I'm just going to try to get off here. Obviously we're going to have to take this off the wall, but we'll get that all out a little bit better later. So that's the space we're working with. We're going to go ahead to Home Depot, get everything we need, then come home and take all this initial stuff off and then start working on the new one. Alright guys, I didn't take any video in Home Depot. There were lots of people around, so I just picked out the stuff. I'm going to show you what I got. Now, we got a new rack here, and the new rack systems are different. You can't find the ones like I had. They're just old. Who knows, they might be 20, 30 years old even. This house was built like 30 some years ago, and these were in here for the last 10 years I've been here, so they could be pretty old. So I couldn't get like the same exact type, but these new ones are actually a little better. They clip on to these rails. Got 2 of these rails here, and as you can see kind of how it works. So these are actually better. You can move them up and down, you could do other things. And I thought about getting a full to the ceiling one, but I decided just to go with this one because my upper rack still works, but whoever did this was on drugs. And you'll see why. So my upper rack I just use for hanging clothes. It's been here since I moved in. But look at the rack. The rack's at the ceiling. You can't do anything with it. So whoever put that up, I guess that's just how they decided to do it. So I could have done rails all the way to the ceiling, but I figured that still works. I don't need to put anything up there, so we're just replacing the bottom one today. If I wanted to get longer rails in the future and change that up, I can, but for now that's fine. So the first thing we're going to do down here is take everything off, but let's go over everything else we need. So we got all the parts we need here, the rack and the holding system, and then my rack just has 2 places for screws, one here and one here. So I just got 4 screws. Gonna need a drill bits, and then screwdriver heads for the drill to screw in the screws. And then we're gonna cover up the holes of the old one here, where I take all the pieces out. Just gonna cover it up with spackle, and then little spackle knife. I have spackle chisel scraper, they call this one, but you can use it for spackling too. And I had a bigger one of these, but I wanted one that would fit in this little tub, so I just got a new one. So that's all we need. Should be pretty simple. Let's go ahead and get all these old pieces out. Alright, now we got the old pieces out, but we got to get these little securing mounts out. So we're going to just get all those pulled out. And I'm not going to show all this on camera because it's just going to take me a second. And then we'll go to the next step. Alright, so now that it's all out and everything's lower than the rest of the wall, we're just going to be using the spackle to cover everything up. And we don't have to do this perfect. I'm not going to be painting this room right now. So we're just looking to cover everything up. It goes on pink and then it's going to dry white. So we're just going to go ahead and cover all these up. Alright, so now for the trickiest step we have. You can do this a few different ways, but we need to make sure that these line up and down perfectly so that when we attach the connectors, that this hole, let's say we're putting it here, lines up with the other one so it's nice and straight. I'm going to put this side on the top since I'm not using the top that will be hidden. I can rip that off, but now it's just easy. So we're going to want one about here and one about here. But it's good to check to see if you have studs behind the wall. Now I know where the studs are because if you can see on my camera here, there's little spots where holes were drilled before. So I know that there's studs in certain places, so we'll go ahead and use those. But you also have to get this very level. So to begin with, I'm just going to put this up, hold a level on here. I know this is really high for you guys, but I wanted to kind of level it up on there. I'll move it down a bit. And I want to make sure this is completely level. And that looks pretty darn good right there. And I'm just going to put a little mark over here and a little mark over here. And I'll know that those two marks are about the same. I'm going to do that one more time down here. Get my level to the center here perfectly. That looks good. Just going to put a little mark here and a little mark here. And now I kind of have just some guidelines. Now you could do this even differently. You can measure exactly from the ground up. You can, do all that type of stuff. I'm just trying to do this quick and simply. But you definitely can measure from the ground and put a mark right here where your screw is going to go. And then do it over there. Measure from the ground and put a mark right there. Could definitely do it that way. But how we're going to do it is just on this little marks here. In fact, I should have just done maybe one more underneath here. Then I could just line this up and start it wherever I want. So I'm going to do that one more time here. That looks good. Alright, so now we're going to have to put these up. I know that these bottom marks are at the same height, so I might be able to just start right from that bottom mark. So let me go ahead down here. Bottom mark might be off camera over here, but I put that bottom mark on each side across. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to line this up with the bottom mark. Alright. I'm going to take my level again. I'm going to throw it on the top. I'm going to make sure that this is straight up and down. I want it as straight up and down as possible. Alright. Someone's calling me. I'm just going to hit that off. And I am dead on that bottom mark, which I know you guys can't quite see. But I'm going to go ahead. Well, this pen doesn't want to go through, but I'm going to go ahead and put my mark from the side in to that whole spot, and then this whole spot I'm going to have to move, put a little mark where I want that one to be. So really simple, not too hard there. I'm going to go ahead and check this phone call and then we'll come back and keep going. Alright, that was just a solicitation call. Alright, just for double checking here, I am going to take my measuring tape, throw it down to the ground here, and our first screw hole we have here is at, let me make sure this is right on the ground, it's at 52 1/4 exactly. So let's go ahead and check this one. And this one's at 52 1/4 exactly. So it looks good. So our next step here is going to be make sure we got it in the stud. I can move it left and right just a little bit to make sure I got it in the stud. But that is the area I want it at. So let me go ahead and make sure I got the studs in the right places, and we'll continue to the next step. Alright, our next step is going to be drilling some guide holes. And you're going to want a drill bit that's ever so slightly smaller than the screw you're going to be using. Don't want it to be as big, you won't have any holes, you want it a little bit smaller. Better to be a little too small than a little bit too big. So first hole's easy. Just going to go to it. And drill through a little bit. Now the second hole we want to make sure is lined up perfectly. So I'm going to take my piece here. I'm just going to line it straight up and down to where the next hole should be. And I just want to make sure one more time, I'm putting my level on top. Just want to make sure one more time I got this level. And it looks like I'm close, but it looks like I might want to... Oh, okay. Yep, that looks pretty good. So, let me move this back. I want to drill the hole just ever so slightly to the left of my first one. So we're going to go up here, just ever so slightly to the left. And now we'll move on and do the other side. Alright guys, so now I've drilled the holes on both sides actually. And now all there's left to do is put this up. So we're going to go ahead and line that up. Put the drill bit back on my drill. Make sure this looks straight. As you can see, we're hitting wood there. The drill's getting tight, which is good. But let me get the top one in. It's good. You want to hit the wood in there and not just only have drywall. So let me just start the top one up here and make sure we got this in a good position here. Alright. And now we just tighten it down until it's tight, both of these. And there we go, one side done. Go ahead and do the other side now. And let me just grab the screws and everything. Alright, we got the second one here. Let's go ahead and get it started. Start it up on the top here. Get it mostly tight, and then start on the bottom one. All right. So now we have it all hung up, and what we should be able to do right around here was where my last ones are, or were, should be able to put these in. Alright, is it here? Now if I did this correctly, it should be the right height. Let me see which way this goes. I think, yep, it goes like this, I believe. And it looks like, does this clip under or something? I have not put one of these tops on. I'm not 100% sure which way this goes. I mean, that's, maybe that goes, oh, maybe it goes under there. There we go. There we go. Clipped on, stuck on. And we can slide it back and forth a little, but that's perfect. Now when I hang my clothes, it's going to cover everything to about here. And I can even lower this a little bit if I want, put it wherever I want. So that's pretty neat. Worked great, simple to install. And now I have a permanent rack system. And I can even add more racks higher if I wanted to, but I've got the clothes hanging. So, come back to me over here. That's how you do a simple install of that type of thing. Have any questions about little simple home repairs, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see y'all later.